Hello. Today I'm gonna tell you a story, a recent story from this past week. Um, I went to work in a place that is not far from Fatima, and so once I was there, I decided to have a tour and try to get to know the sacred triangle, which is Fatima, Tumar, and Dornej, all very close to each other, like maybe 30, 40 kilometers between them. And I had no plans to go at a particular hour or to stay or how long to stay. No plans. Only the only plan was to visit the three places. In fact, I thought I would go first to Tumar, but then I realized no, Fatima is closer to the place where I am, so I'm gonna visit Fatima first. And so I arrived in Fatima in the evening. I booked a hotel. I slept there, and next morning, I went to the sanctuary of Fatima. But because the 10th of June in Portugal is the day of Portugal, so it's a bank holiday, it was so crowded. Big queues for everywhere, for the sanctuary, for the church, the other church, for this and for that. And I looked around and no way. I'm not gonna stay here. I'm not gonna queue to visit any sanctuary. And then I looked at the time and it was 10 hours and 10 minutes of the 10th of June. I said, wow, yeah, that's nice. So that was the time I decided to go to the garden of the olive trees, where the Virgin Mary shown herself to the little shepherds. That is the story who has created all the thing around Fatima and the big sanctuary and the big peregrinations. It all started with that. So I went to that place, and in fact, it was not crowded at all. And when I arrived there, I realized it was the time for the eclipse, the most important eclipse of this year, the 10th of June. And in Portugal, it was at 10:55. And there I was, the place where the Virgin Mary appeared uh, under a very powerful eclipse. It was a very special moment. It was. So I stayed there. I meditated a little bit. I walked up and down the the mountain, and then at a certain point, I decided, okay, this is enough. Uh, I'm gonna move to the next place, Tumar. In Tumar, there is the convent of Christ and the castle of the Templaries. And so my plan was to visit that place. I arrived in the afternoon, thought it was too late to visit the convent, should let it to next morning, and so I went to a park that used to be the King's Park, King's Park, and I walked for kilometers and kilometers in that huge park, beautiful huge park. And so again, I booked in a hotel. I went to the hotel, and next morning I was in the convent. I visit the castle. It's a beautiful castle. And then I went into the convent. And when I got into the church, it was something magnificent. It's not a big church. It's a church with the shape of a keyhole, which is quite uncommon. And as soon as I stepped there and I looked at all that amazing environment, I got goosebumps, and I felt a huge emotion, almost like wanting to cry, and I felt like I want to lie down on the ground, on the floor, on my stomach, arms open, like the nuns usually do. So I asked myself, why is this? Was I here before? Maybe, I don't know. I must tell you, it's the most, I've seen many churches, beautiful, beautiful churches with all kinds of work and saints and angels and everything, with golden walls, everything I've seen, but I've never seen anyone like that. It's amazing. It's brutal. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So I recommend that you visit that place. It's magical. It's not only beautiful, but it is magical. Maybe not so much for you as it is for me, as it was for me. So, and then after that, I moved to Dornes. Dornes, it's in a valley surrounded by a river. And when I was driving downhill, on the curves downhill, I could feel the energy from the trees and from the flowers. It was like if the trees were talking to me, and the flowers were so intense, had such intense colors. I was, wow, if this is here, I can't imagine how it's going to be when I arrive in Dorns. And in fact, it was disappointing because I didn't feel any emotion or anything as I felt in Tamar, or the energy I felt going downhill. No, it is a very small village, um, um, very, very small. And in fact, I could not even find a hotel or a place to stay. It was a very, very hot day, and there was people playing in the river, but I was not prepared for that. So it was so hot. I was prepared for a walk, but it was too hot for a walk. So as soon as I arrived, I saw that tower, square tower, on the top of a little hill, and I figured that was the place where I should go. And I went there. I had a bag with cherries, and I was walking and eating cherries, and it was quite refreshing on that hot day. It was a nice walk, not long, but nice walk. And when I arrived to the church, it was closed. There was a sign saying free entrance, but the door was closed. So I went around, I took a few pictures, and then I went back there, and I went back there, and there was this old woman who said, "Oh, we're gonna open in a minute." So there was a stone bench under a tree right by the door of the church, and I lied there on my back, and when I looked up, there was this tea tree above me, and the sunlight was passing through the leaves, and I decided to take a picture. And so I took the picture by the door of the church called the Virgin Mary of the Tears. I went in the church. It's a lovely, small sanctuary. And I stayed there. I've looked a lot around, took some pictures, meditate a little bit. I didn't feel anything particular. And because I couldn't find a place to stay overnight, I decided to leave. And but I stopped. I sat down on a shade and I decided to look at the pictures I took. And it was surprising because that picture I took, uh, looking up to the tree and the sun rays, has an orb. And it's an orb, blue and purple, with the shape of an eye. And when I made the picture bigger, I was very surprised. There was this white spot in the middle that looked like a 9, but I amplified it a little bigger, and in fact, instead of a 9, it looks like the head of a virgin, of Virgin Mary, the head the with that covered Mary, Virgin Mary wears. And I said to myself, but this is amazing. So by the door of the Church of Virgin Mary of Tears, I take a picture where it shows an orb with the shape of an eye and with a spot, with the form, the shape of Virgin Mary in the middle. And that was quite amazing. So I didn't feel anything particular in the church, but it sounded like a message that she's with me. I guess she is. I guess um, powerful energy helps me in my work and protects me in my life. Oh, I forgot to say. Yeah, so it was the 10 hours and 10 minutes of the tent when I headed to the olive trees valley. And then when I got into that church in Tumar, it was 11 hours, 11 minutes of the 11th of June. I recommend that you visit these three places. It's the sacred spiritual triangle.